Hey guys, what's going on? I'm going to be reviewing one of my Talon games here. Talon got a bug fix which made him a lot more playable than he was before. He was kind of, really weak in the last patch, just because there's a bug on him and they didn't fix it until now. So hopefully, you guys can try him out at home. He's pretty good, and he just needs a couple of items, and you need a support item on Morgana. But after that, he's going to be a really strong comp. Not like complete S tier, but if you guys get the good starts and good items for Talon, you might as well try to play him. So the most important thing in TFT is the early game. Unfortunate here, we don't get any 2-stars, no Chosen, no insane synergies, but you want to always buy everything in your early game shops. Brand is terrible. We don't want to play him. Fiora can be usable in a bunch of duelist comps, but yeah, these other guys, they might be a little more powerful and more flexible for the early game. All right, on to the next shop. Teemo's good. We could do some sort of like sharpshooter Vanguard start. Not too bad. Maybe slap in some Warlords also because we have Garen and Italy, so we'll just go ahead and buy that. All right, so we could do something like a Rage Blade. There's a Yasuo I was talking about with the Fiora. It's playable. It's playable. We don't have the best items for this, but we could just slap a Last Whisper on him maybe and go into some sort of maybe like Sivir comp. You could play Olaf, you could play Tryndamere, you could play Talon like we were talking about before. Or you could build a Rage Blade, go into something like Kale because you have Rage Blade and half a QSS. Lots of different options here. But I think early game on the Yasuo, like Last Whisper might be a little bit better than the Rage Blade. Let's just try it out, you know? So this guy just slapped a RFC on his Sivir. So this guy's going Sivir. Best in slot Sivir is probably RFC, Last Whisper, and Quicksilver Sash. If you get 3-star Sivir with those items, it's like kind of like Exodia. You're going to be doing well. Like, maybe you don't win every lobby, but you're going to be placed in top 1 or top 2 with 3-star Sivir with those items, and assuming the rest of your board is, like, not complete trash, like, it's going to be slapping really hard. The caveat of that comp, though, is that if you don't end up hitting the Sivir, you are going to be struggling with those items because she's not going to be able to do enough damage. So back to the game, I'm going to level up here because reroll Yasuo, utter garbage, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. If you guys didn't catch my most recent video of, like, the only reroll that's still allowed to be played, like, you can only really reroll Tristana. Everything else is, like, really, really weak. You might get away with good placements in some games, but unless you get, like, amazing starts with them, it's not worth going for, like, Diana a 3-star or, like, Brand 3-star. What else was there? Like, Yasuo 3-star. It's just not worth it. So we were able to win the last round because of the level up. There's another Jax here. We'll probably pick that up. And after that, like, it's probably just a pre-level because we're not making interest, so you might as well just pre-level, get access to stronger units. So this guy's got 2-star Nautilus. He's got Tristana with IE. This guy's really strong. I don't think we're going to kill that much here. Yeah, even with Last Whisper against 2 Vanguard. Maybe he's doing some work. He's doing some work. Okay, not bad. 2-unit loss. So on this carousel, we have a Rod. We just want to be picking up more attack speed items and attack damage items because Sivir's still open, so we could go RFC on Sivir. Sword obviously going to be really good. Crit obviously going to be really good. So it's probably going to be the crit. Yeah, so we grabbed that here because someone else took the sword. And again, even though I said I'm going Talon this game because, like, this is a replay, so obviously I know what happens, you need to remain very flexible whenever you play TFT, especially on this current patch. Like, forcing comps on this patch, that's a big no-no. I tried it. I lost all my LP. You're welcome to try it on your own, but that is not the strategy for this patch. Every game I've done well, I've been, like, pretty flexible and just played whatever 4-cost carry unit I got in the, like, stage 4 and stage 5. And that's why I'm not going for, like, Chain Vest to go, like, GA for Talon right now. Because best in slot Talon's probably Guardian Angel, Infinity Edge, and maybe, like, Last Whisper or Giant Slayer. But I'm not going for that item because I want to keep Sivir open. I want to keep Olaf open. I want to keep Tryndamere open. So that's why I grabbed the crit to try to build IE. But if you are building like a forcing a Talon build, like, yes, Guardian Angel would be better. I'd much rather pick up like a Chain Vest or even like a belt to build Morello Namicon because that's also necessary on Morgana, but not the best way to play this game. All right, so we got the Duelist, or nah, not Duelist, Jax there. That's pretty good. Pike is needed for the comp later. But here, like, there are a lot of different directions you could go in still. Like, even though we have a lot of the Enlightened units, we have some Divines. Like, you could literally go into so many different directions right now. Like, you could go into Olaf or Tryndamere still, so just keep that in mind as we pay attention to the items later. So this round, Diana is a big smurf, but not big enough because we have 2-star Jax. Jax is one of the best early game tanks, so if you ever get, like, chosen Jax in stage 2 or stage 3, just buy it. It's going to be really good. Even as, like, a solo tank, with his dodge mechanic, he's, like, actually pretty good. All right, so we got a lot of items here. We got a chain, we got a belt, and a sword. So obviously that's really good items for the comp we're going. So that's when I decide like, okay, like IE Last Whisper, that still keeps me open to pretty much everything. Not sure why I sold the Sejuani. Could go for Jax, but I feel like selling Sejuani was a big mistake. But yeah, we could slap the Morello here. Like, I'm pretty sure we could just go Talon from this point because we have like almost perfect item. And even though GA is really good, it's like the best item on Talon. Like, I could always build it later, so that's why I don't build it yet. I think we only got one natural sword drop, so we should be able to get another one later into the game. All right, so now it's a new turn. We could go ahead, level up. Sell those guys. Just drop in Pike. Like, not the best board, but like, you know, you gotta make do with what you got. So generally, I see a lot of people rolling at level 6 on 3-2. Unfortunately for us, we don't have a lot of gold. We only have 20 gold. Normally, you have like 40 or 50 gold after leveling up to 6 at this point in the game. But since we bought a lot of units in the early game, we just didn't have much of an econ. So our board's pretty strong to compensate for that, which is kind of lucky for us. All right, so new shop. We get an Aurelia. Unlucky that a Kale drops because, I mean, you guys all know how strong Kale is, right? Like, we'll play her for now, or like Divine or whatever, but we can't play her with IE Last Whisper. It just doesn't make sense. So sometimes like you get a 4-cost carry and it's like the wrong one. Unlucky. Just try to shake it off and focus on the game at hand. Tom Kench with Sunfire, really strong. He's also got Chosen Callista with a Rod for some reason. Why do you... Maybe that's just a temporary Chosen with the Callista, but yeah, it's not that strong. Callista really needs items to shine. She's actually one of the best item holders right now for a lot of different compositions because she could hold Kale items. She could hold, like, I guess just Kale because she uses such good use of all the attack speed items, and you just pivot into that and just use Kale in the meantime, and you'll be doing just fine. So we're last pick. Let's just see what we get. Luckily, we have most of the items we want already. This one's tough. Like, we don't actually need any item here. I guess we could go tier for like Handed Justices or Chalice of Powers. Chain Vest doesn't really do anything because we already have one for Guardian Angel. Second Chain Vest would be used for something like Locket. But we could also just play Shen here to play Shen because we have Adepts. That could be useful as well. Yeah, so I think we go ahead and do that. Drop this Nasus and put in just like a random unit. And again, unlucky on the Kale because like, well, 2 Kales but no Kale items. No Reforger, feels kind of bad. This guy is really gung-ho about this Sivir. He's going for the Exodia build. You could tell because he put the Negatron on his Sivir, so he really wants that like 4 sharpshooter, QSS, RFC, Last Whisper Dream, but I'm surprised his health as high as it is because he's kind of middle of the pack right now, but his team is like really weak for this stage in the game. All right, this guy's going some sort of just Kale. Yeah, everyone goes Kale now. Kale's really strong. Just because like her items can be used in a lot of different comps too, but not strong enough for my board right now because he's all 1-star. So one thing to always keep track of whenever you're playing TFT is when should I sell my Chosen? Generally, it's before you roll down, so we're probably going to do that right here after this Wolf Camp. Just sell the Yasuo. We don't actually lose any synergies because we still have 2 Duelists with Fiora and Jax. Duelist isn't even that great right now, but if you want to keep that option open, you can. But yeah, this Yasuo, like, even though he's going to be great with that item, like Olaf or Morgana is going to be great. If I do like some sort of Olaf build, Morello can be used on Pike. It's not the end of the world, and like we did get some good win streak out of that Morello Namicon. We get pretty lucky here. We hit a Talon. It's only 1-star, but we get perfect items, so we're just going to go ahead and build that. We also have Assassin Spatula if we want it, so we could go something like 4 Assassin Pike or the, what's it called? Like, just run the comp without Pike and yeah, just go from there. We're not going to build it yet though because we don't actually have the 4th Assassin, so we'll keep the Spatula open. Obviously, Force of Nature is going to be the best here. All right, one little weird thing though. If you are low health in this situation, you should roll. I am not rolling because I'm at 94 health, and the reason behind this is because Talon 1 isn't actually that stable. If you have something like Kale 1, that's actually like a stable 4-cost carry. But Talon, he just isn't that great. You need other units to really complement him or have like 2-star Talon. So if you had to choose between a board of like full 2-star team except your carry of Talon versus full 2-star team versus a carry of Kale that's 1-star. So we hit this early Talon. I don't actually think I'm going to Nico this because I still need to find like so many upgrades for my board. So I'm just going to roll either now or at level 8 to find some good guys to put in. So we get a Chosen. That's all we really need. I'm really just rolling for a Chosen to take me to level 8. And that's good enough. You know, I get the 4 Assassin. Even though it's not the best buff, it's like, it's usable for now. And I could potentially do Assassin Spatula for 6 Assassin if I really need it. But we'll just see how this board does and go from there. All right, this Shyvana is actually looking pretty strong. Do we have enough to kill that? I don't think we do, unless like Akali smurfs. Akali is actually such a good unit, holy cow. But I think we lose this one because, yeah, the Shyvana ticks, unlucky. All right, so there is the Diana if we want to build the spat already, but I don't know. It's a little much for now, in my opinion. So instead of going for the Diana with 6 Assassin, I'd really much rather have the chance open for maybe like Divine Spatula if I want to run Divines with the Aurelia later after I sell the Jax, or do something like, obviously, Force of Nature is going to be the best item here. So we could just chill with that for now. Like maybe we could have built it to maybe generate like a win streak here, but once you're at stage 4, stage 5, like you don't really care about win streaks. You're just trying to get the most powerful team for the late game. Depending on your health, but since we're high health, we want to wait till like we get the strongest team possible and maybe try to get first place from there. So we could play a little more greedy with our items because of that. All right, we are last pick. Sword is taken. What do we even want? Kind of like utility item, maybe like a Negatron, so we could build Chalice. Not too bad. All right, so we could level up here maybe. We do have the Shens with the like same item, so if we do complete the Shen, even though you don't want the Chalice of Power on Shen, like, just because you get a free Shen 2 because I only need one more of him, it's going to be fine if the Chalice is on him instead of Morgana. It's really not the end of the world. Morgana with and without Chalice isn't that big of a difference in my opinion. All right, so this guy, man, he really just like, what is he going for now? It's clearly not the Sivir since he's going some sort of Cultist build. I don't really know. What's Billy Boss doing? I mean, he's doing well. He's second place in terms of health, and he's actually beating me. But his team just looks super, super weird right now. It's just, he's really being carried by the team items right now that's on the Callista. But unless he finds like a lot more Sivers and goes sharpshooters, but I don't think he's doing that anymore. He's going to have a weird time. Okay, so here we get the Shen. Yeah, again, Chalice not the best on him, but like, if you get a free Shen 2, you take it, even if you have suboptimal items on him. Like, you'd rather have that item on someone else. It's just like a whatever, yeah. Like, so he will get a little bit of a bigger shield and ult a little earlier because of the tier and be a little more tanky. But Shen's always the last person to die, so it's not really that important. All right, so this guy, wow, his full board is 1-star except for Chosen Sejuani. And Tristana, what's he doing? He's level 8 already, though, so I guess he just spent all his gold on leveling up. Oh, man. I mean, he's kind of like middle of the road health after this loss. Like, that's a little uncomfortable for me. If I were him, I would have rolled a little earlier because you never want to be like 25 health entering stage 5. But we're definitely leveling up and rolling after this. Hopefully finding Talon 2. We need a Chosen still. Great thing about the Enlightened Talon comp, you don't like need Chosen. But it's pretty nice because you essentially have like an extra slot whenever you play this comp because you could fit so many different variations in. So I do keep Nasus on my bench. Just keep that in mind because Nasus with Morgana gives me Siphoner. And Siphoner is like, it's okay for Talon. It helps him a little bit. It's not like game breaking by any means, but it's nice. And since we run Aurelia, Divine's also nice too. Okay, so let's see what items we get. We get gold and chain and rod. That's a locket and assassin spat. Not the end of the world. That's actually pretty good. So we could just use that there. Level up here and roll down for this Chosen. All right, nothing. We already have Aurelia. Okay, and there's a Talon. Okay, that's pretty lucky. I'll admit that. That's pretty lucky. We could keep rolling because we have the Nico. So we get a bunch of Talons here. We'll just go ahead and go for Talon 3-star. Yone's also really, really good. So we could just drop him in. And we are missing Morgana still. Morgana's really, really critical for this. But we need to put this Chalice on someone. And Assassin Spat the Yone. Not Chalice, the Locket. So it's good that we found Chosen Talon, obviously, because that's our comp. And we also want to be running Yone too. So we could save the Nico for that. And honestly, like, getting that Talon's huge, right? But we already had 2 Talons. So if we rolled down to like 10 gold, we probably would have hit Talon 2 anyways, non-Chosen version. and just go from there. Like Enlighten Chosen, it's not even like that great in my opinion. Like 6 Enlighten, it's good, but it's not like completely insane, for example, compared to other 6 synergy or 6 trait synergies. But let's keep rolling because we are looking for Morgana because we have 2 items for her. There we go. Replace her with the Jax and swap the items over. And we also rolled a 0 just in case we get like a bunch of Talons. We could potentially go for Talon 3, but we don't get that. So we need to transfer the items over now, and we'll just go ahead and drop that out. So Morello on her, swap out the Jax, put the Morello on Morgana, and then obviously the 3 Talon items on Talon, and then we're set. And we also have 4 Assassin now, so maybe like he does a little bit more extra damage. Looking back in the game, I do eventually, like spoiler alert, I do eventually sell the Katarina and Pike because I feel like it doesn't accentuate Talon's damage that much. Like if you look here, like we're barely beating that Olaf with 4 Assassin. Like I think Talon just does enough damage without the buff. So if we just run 2 Assassin over 4 Assassin, we could just run better units instead because Katarina, I'll be honest with you guys, is like hot garbage. And yeah, so after that, it's like, why would we even run that guy? All right, so this guy's running Diana, 3-star, interesting. I'm surprised he made it this far, 54 health, so he's probably going to get top 4 from that, which is like the most you can expect from it. But if you like ever miss a roll or like have like a weird game or like a slightly unlucky game as that comp, like you're really not going to do well. So best case scenario, you get top 4, and then like worst case scenario, you go 8th. It's just not a very good like trade-off in my opinion. So even though you might get away with it some games, I really don't recommend playing it unless you have like 6 Tristanas at the start of the game. Then maybe I'd consider running it, but that rarely happens. So yeah. So on this carousel, we're looking for a Yone item, and unfortunately, they just don't exist. So like, is it Bloodthirster or is it Dragon Soul on the Yone? I think it's honestly Dragon Soul on the Yone because Bloodthirster is literally useless unless we play 2 Talons. And this gives us a chance to Nico the Yone, and he's going to be Assassin and Dragon Soul. So even though we don't have the Dragon Soul, it's still ability power, and we get him 2-star. So it's just like a best of a bad scenario, you know? You're never complaining about Yone 2-star. If you find someone who does do that, like let me know. I'll tell them that Yone is good for you. But let me know down in the comments if you guys have a friend that like thinks Yone is bad still. All right, so let's look at this guy. He's got a Mage Olaf. Interesting. I think I'd rather Mage Shyvana. But to each their own. So Talon's making quick work of these guys, I think. Maybe Yone too. Let's see who actually won the damage chart there. Man, his set did no damage. Okay, it is Talon. So Talon is like, yeah, with perfect item, he better be cranking, you know? If not, the build kind of sucks. But that's the whole point. Like, the build is back because they fix all the bugs. So if you get good Talon items and 2-star Talon, you're going to be doing fine. And again, like, for all the haters out there, yes, I know I've chosen Talon. But we had 2 Talons during the roll down, and we had like 20 gold left. So if we didn't buy the chosen Talon, we'd have 30 gold. And at level 8, 30 gold, finding 1 uncontested Talon, not that difficult to do. So we probably would have hit it anyways this game. All right, so this guy's got a highly protected Kale. Highly protected. So our Talon's jumping around, hitting everything except for Kale. But his Kale isn't really ramping up till now, so maybe there's a chance. Yone kind of derped there. All right. Nah, that's a L. Man, if you do protect the Kale, it's really dependent on like Morgana ults and like Talon jumps to actually win that. All right, so we get a Ionic Spark here, not the best. All right, so here's where I wisen up and take out the assassins. Like I said before, like Katarina and Pike, they're just like completely trash units. Oh, sorry, Pike's a good unit, but we have Assassin Spat already, so we don't need the Pike. So I'd rather just get rid of the Katarina and run literally anything else. It could be 6 Enlighten if we find a Fiora again. At least she stuns, you know? Or just play a bunch of random legendaries. Like if we're playing Zillion for Mystic or something like that, like maybe 4 Mystic, even though 4 Mystic isn't the best synergy, like you just really can't complain about that. However, I'm not going to roll yet because I want to reach level 9. And at level 9, maybe we could get like an actual 2-star legendary instead of just a 1-star legendary. I feel like Yone Assassin is just really broken because he applies like, he's a really good like unit to kill stuff with, you know? I know he's like kind of a support unit because he reduces resistances, but his second ability, Sealed Fate, it does so much damage. If you ever get a blue buff on Yone, like you're going to be winning a lot of games in my opinion. Yeah, this Diana comp, even though he's level 9, like the power spike or the power level of the overall comp, like in late game, it just is really lackluster. So he ended up getting like a second this game by the looks of it, but in stronger lobbies, he might not be able to get away with that. All right, so this guy has a Zephyr on my Katarina. Oh, wait, he Zephyred my Talon as well? What? I don't remember this at all. It's okay, we still got Yone. Yone's still a really good guy. Kale is posing trouble. Yone was attacking Kale, then jumped away. No. Okay, there we go. Talon's able to finish that off. All right, so we killed that guy. Pretty good there. And then now it's just 1v1 against the Diana, which is like super easy because we destroyed this guy like 10 times already. All right, so I see he has a shroud here, so I'm going to do something a little goofy. I'm going to move everyone to the outskirts so that I don't get hit by the shroud because, like, you just don't want to get hit by shroud. I don't know how else to explain it. So what you can do is just separate your units really far away. That way, she can't shroud all your critical units. So I'm going to put my Talon all the way on the edge, my Zilean all the way on the edge, and keep some people in the middle. That way that shroud doesn't hit like both my Yone and my Talon. It could be argued that I should have put my Zilean in the middle, so okay, he has 2 shrouds. Never mind on that. I guess I didn't catch that. Because then I kind of just wasted my time doing that whole swap. Actually, Yone didn't get hit by the shroud, so that's also pretty good. So I guess it's not the end of the world then. All right, so on this carousel, you want a Yone item. Blue buff's going to be the best. Dragonclaw's pretty good because he is a, what do you call it, magic damage comp. So just going to snipe that away from him. Swain, if we want the Siphoner, I think we do. Like, who cares about Divine at this point in the game? Dragonclaw on him, like, yeah, there's just no way to beat or to win as Diana in the late game. I honestly don't know how the Diana beat all the Kales. Diana must have jumped like directly to Kale in those games. Because like I think 3rd and 4th place were both Kale players. So Diana must have just jumped directly on Kale and just started sniping her right away. That's the only explanation I can think of how the Diana comp won. But gonna play 2 Lee Sins here. Lee Sin's just a great unit. He's gonna be killing people. I made a mistake here. I should have kept one of my Lee Sins on the back line to kick Diana off the field directly. So if I placed him like right in the center back row where the Diana jumps, like there's a very high chance he just kicks Diana off the board right away. Just something to keep in mind if you guys are facing this comp in like your own games. But get a nice easy win there. Obviously Chosen Talon's nice, but I've already explained myself of like how much gold I had, and I probably would have hit Talon 2 anyways. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this game. Talon is back. He was a carry for a lot of comps or a lot of people in early set 4 and late set 4, but set 4.5, he's been kind of quiet. He's had a couple of bugs. He got nerfed too much because he was too strong in set 4, but he's back now. So if you get great items for him, I highly recommend it. Let me know down in the comments how it works out for you. But you guys can also leave like other messages in the comments. Like normally I pin the funniest comments. So if you make me laugh, the first person to make me laugh in the comments, I'll probably pin that person. So some people ask like, how do I get pinned in the comment for one of your videos? That's like the best way to do that. But apart from that, I'll see you guys next time.